Rebecca, we're doing an unboxing today, but I have put together the boxes for you. I wanted to take a look at gemstones throughout history and see what was the most valuable gemstone in the world at different points in history.
Oh, I like that, because it's changed.
It has changed.
Yeah.
And it probably will change more. So you ready for a little historical trip?
I love it.
Cool. All
Let's
right.
go.
Box number 1.
Okay. Ooh, we've got Lapis Lazuli. Or
It's fun being on the other side of this.
I know, you really know what's up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in ancient Egypt.
Well, it goes,
Circle
yeah,
in.
it starts way back actually in the Middle East, Mesopotamia, Egypt. Lots of civilizations really enjoyed lapis. The history of humanity and lapis goes about 6,500 years back. So it's truly one of the first gemstones that mankind kind of fell in love with. And it all started in the Middle East, what is now Afghanistan.
So Afghanistan, one of the popular localities for lapis. Lapis is an aggregate. You've got lazurite, which is the blue. You have calcite, which is the white. And then you have pyrite, which is,
The flex.
The flex.
The magic.
The metallic flex.
So
Pliny.
Pliny, come on, he's come up so much.
Pliny, I
Pliny
always forget.
used the word sapphirus, right, which evolved into sapphire. But he was probably describing lapis lazuli because he describes the flecks in the stone. So it's a blue stone with flecks
Got
of
it.
gold. And that he called sapphirus. But we know today that it's lapis lazuli.
Famous uses, pigment.
Yes.
So artwork, makeup.
Yeah, eyeshadow. During the Renaissance, lapis lazuli was ground up to make ultramarine, which the name means beyond the sea, like more than the sea, to describe the true blue hue of this pigment. So your pulverized lapis would be mixed with oils or some sort of binding agent, and you would use that as a paint. But it was so valuable, it was worth more in weight than gold at the time. For a humble aggregate to exceed the value of gold during a significant chunk of history is pretty crazy,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I love some of the stories like the famous Renaissance painters bankrupting their whole families just to get a little bit more ultramarine so I can finish my
gosh.
painting. Yeah, it's crazy. So there's a Michelangelo painting that is famously unfinished called Entombment. And it's unfinished because he could not get his hands on ultramarine.
Oh, I
So
didn't
it's
know
just
that.
unfinished. Yeah, imagine denying one of the great painters of history. We still source lapis from Afghanistan. In 700 BC, in a region that was called Bactria, they had lapis lazuli mines, and they are still active today. Okay, so we started with lapis. You want to move on?
I like it, yeah.
Cool. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
Here you go.
Ah. Oh, we've got all three.
We've
got the big
all three of what? Yeah, the big three.
So we've got ruby, emerald, and sapphire, blue sapphire.
Yeah. So these are the big three most famous colored gemstones in the world. All three of them have a very long, colorful history,
Two of them happen to be in the corundum family.
and the other is a beryl.
I gotta say, I love this.
Isn't that awesome? Do you think that's a twin?
Yes.
I like this guy because you can see, clear as day, you can see the growth marks. You don't need any sort of magnification to see them, and they are striking. And the whole stone is super lustrous, which
Yeah.
I love.
Corundum, part of the trigonal crystal system, and you can see here clear visualization of what's going on in the crystal structure.
Yeah, looks
so you
amazing.
have what are called growth marks, and you have triangular growth marks, and that is a one telltale sign of a ruby or sapphire crystal. So let's talk about the value of the big three.
The history of humanity and all three of these gemstones goes way back. Corundum was preferable to a lot of ancient lapidaries because of their hardness and because of their beauty and also their kind of incomparable color.
At their best quality, they're thought of as the most precious of the colored gemstones, the most valuable. All things being equal, blue sapphire falls a little bit behind the pack. high quality emerald and ruby are gonna rise to the top a little bit more. And that's due to a few different reasons. So emerald is a type 3 clarity stone, meaning it often has inclusions, and that's based off the way that emerald is formed. And what happens is when you have an emerald that has really good color and really good clarity, the price skyrockets.
Yeah.
And a good size, because the way that it's formed, you don't often get these massive crystals.
Yeah. I mean, even if you look at this guy, the green color is gorgeous. The
Nice
forest
bluish
green, completely a mess on the inside. It's totally full of fractures and other little bits. It's not a very clear stone at all. But it's still beautiful, and that's why emerald is still so valuable, even though, like you said, it's a type 3 clarity stone.
And ruby, on the other hand, you may have heard the term pigeon blood ruby, typically referred to as a ruby from Myanmar, Burma. That rarity factor and that value factor comes from the color, often the clarity. As you can see, these are opaque, basically. So there are a lot of different elements that contribute to a gem's value or price at a given time.
The finest quality rubies, and I might even say emeralds, at a certain point, exceed the price per carat of even diamonds.
Yes.
Yeah. The earliest emerald mines are from Egypt, thousands of years ago, 3500 BC.
The other thing to think about is how different cultural events impact these and the fluctuation of the value of these over periods of time. So for example, with Princess Diana and her blue sapphire ring, blue sapphire shot through the roof.
Boom. Yeah.
And so since then there have been fluctuations in prices, and so you never really know. There was just a new ruby. It's a Mozambican ruby. It has that perfect pigeon's blood color that was like 100 carats. They just fasted that down to about 55 carats. So it's the largest ruby in the world. It's massive and it's so pretty. And so you have lapidary events or findings that affect the prices.
They sort of jostle the market, yeah. So ruby in particular was discovered as far back as 2,500 years ago. There are references in Hindu literature. So the largest of the rubies that came out of these mines in Myanmar at the time, they would immediately just like send to the ruler of Myanmar. Those were just his property.
Of course.
You know, it is what it is. The Hindus separated rubies into 4 different castes, just like their sociological, their societal caste system, their social caste system. And it was based on, the color and the clarity and things like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, and on top of that, the most precious rubies were not allowed to, you couldn't put them in a bag with the lesser rubies, because they believed that the lesser rubies would tarnish the quality of the superior rubies. You wanna get to another box?
I'd love to.
Okay.
Oh, so pretty.
Yeah.
We've got
there you go, well done.
pearl.
So 2 strands of South Sea pearls, one white and the other gold. And those are just 2 very pretty shells that have that nacreous, luster-y coating.
Okay, I love South Sea pearl. So let's talk about maybe
Sure.
natural versus cultured. In short, a pearl forms as a result of an irritant getting inside the shell. The mollusk protects itself by putting coats of nacre and other materials around it. Over time, it builds up and becomes this pearl. If that happens naturally, it's a natural pearl. Most pearls on the market are cultured, which means that man puts that material in, whether it can be a soft tissue or a seed of another pearl or some sort of material that stimulates this growth. Nowadays, a natural pearl is incredibly expensive.
And so imagine how expensive they were back in the day, especially when they didn't have the cultured option. There's a strong argument to be made that the pearl is the first gemstone or precious gem that mankind ever encountered. So the Hindu god Krishna, it was believed that he discovered the first pearl, plucked it from the sea, and gave it to his daughter for her wedding gift.
Oh.
That's the story about, behind pearls in that culture. In Rome, Caesar passed a law saying that basically only rich people could wear pearls. They sewed them into their clothing. They made clothing of pearls that was so long that they were walking on the pearls, in the ground. Yeah, the Roman general Caligula gave his horse a pearl necklace because his horse, he had also made a consul of Rome.
Stop.
I'm not even kidding.
That's a little extreme.
These are ridiculous. He gave a pearl necklace to his horse because his horse was a consul.
Pearls are still valued in the sense that they're classic. You're gonna give them for, you know, a gift to your daughter for her wedding day. But because cultured pearls have become so much more prevalent on the market because of how culturing works, that's when the value decreases. That's why a natural, uncultured pearl is extremely valuable because more and more they're becoming rarer and rarer.
Yeah. Small box.
Oh, cool. Well, I was gonna say gold.
Good.
Is that gold?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got gold.
Yeah, so obviously not a gemstone. So I thought it would be cool because gold, across all of history, the most valuable metal, the most precious metal. It's very likely that gold was the first metal that humans encountered because you don't have to dig for it. You can find it on riverbeds. So it's likely that gold was the first metal that was like worked by man. The ancient Greeks, you know, they noticed not only does gold occur and they could find it on riverbanks and stuff, and also it's very dense. So they assumed that the gold could be some sort of ratio of water and the sun. I was also reading an interesting piece about how gold gave rise to the idea of money because it was private and it was permanent. Ancient Roman currency, gold coins. Greek currency, gold coins.
Gold is one of those items that does fluctuate in value across all of the items on this table. It is the most consistent in the sense that it has been given an established value while that value has changed. It is established that it does have a value and it will probably be standardized in some way, shape, or form for a good chunk of time.
A long time.
I don't like to speak in absolutes.
No,
but
only a Sith deals in absolutes. I think it's time for a closer look.
I love it. Mine might be kind of weird. Mine is the corundum. And the
Okay, cool, because I kind of wanted to pick that as well. I don't think it's weird at all. No, I don't think it's weird at all.
So one, the triangular growth marks, that's really cool. But also I love the color. It's basically a split between ruby and sapphire because you've got that red component and you have that blue component. So that's why it's just called corundum because it doesn't have a clear color to it.
I'm gonna go with our emerald here.
That's really pretty.
Love the green color of this stone. It's so not transparent that I don't even mind. It's just kind of like an opaque stone with a gorgeous green color. So with that said,
take a closer look. Rob, through that. Thanks so much for taking us through that history of value and precious gemstones. That was really fun.
Cool, I'm glad you liked it. Well, thanks for putting up with my history grandstanding. But
no more talks of Pliny. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Shout out Pliny the Elder. You know who I'm talking to. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment. Let us know what kind of videos you'd like to see in the future. And of course, before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on future videos.
See ya.